Welcome, quiz fans, to the new True or False. An amazing fact or complete rubbish, you decide. But make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Let's begin. Beavers used to be the size of bears. It's true. Like many animals, beavers became smaller as they evolved. The horned lizard can shoot blood from its eyes as a defense mechanism. It's true. In fact, they can squirt blood up to 3 feet. The daddy longleg is actually one of the deadliest spiders on Earth, but its fangs cannot penetrate human skin. Nope, that's false, on both counts. Female lions are the primary hunters. That's true. Typical men. So lazy. Ants have 6 lungs. That's false. They actually have no lungs. Cats were the first animals to be domesticated by humans. False again. That one will go to dogs, which were domesticated over 12,000 years ago, where cats, it's just 4,000. Neil Armstrong claims that he actually said, "That's one small step for a man," when he landed on the moon. True. An audio analysis backed him up, which means we've been saying it wrong for all these years. Left-handed people live an average of 9 years longer than right-handed people. That's false. In fact, it's the opposite. The silhouette on the NBA logo is Michael Jordan. It's false. It's actually former Laker Jerry West, who has become affectionately known as the Logo. Cleopatra's reign was closer to the moon landing than the building of the Great Pyramid of Giza. It's actually true. Cleopatra lived roughly 500 years closer to the Apollo 11 moon landing than she did to the completion of the pyramids. Christmas was originally banned in the American colonies. True again. Seen as a pagan-influenced improper distraction, the ban was lifted before the American Revolution. There are more trees on Earth than there are stars in the Milky Way. True. Astronomers estimated there's about 2 to 400 billion stars, where scientists say there's about 3 trillion trees. Arnold Schwarzenegger almost lost out on the title role in Terminator to none other than Sylvester Stallone. False. He almost lost out to O.J. Simpson. Famous video game and movie location Silent Hill is based on a real town. That's true. It's a ghost town of Centralia in Pennsylvania. It's located over an abandoned mine where a coal fire has been raging for decades. Leonardo DiCaprio actually drew the picture of Kate Winslet in Titanic. That's false. It was actually the director, James Cameron. In The Wizard of Oz, the dog playing Toto was paid an actual salary. That's true, and he actually was paid more than some of the human actors in there, and he was paid $125 a week. President John Adams had a dog called Jesus. That's false, but he did have a dog called Satan. The injuries on Luke Skywalker's face when he's attacked by the snow monster in The Empire Strikes Back were real. That's true, Mark Hamill got into a car accident and severely injured his face, and rather than delay filming, George Lucas wrote it into the script. Electric eels are actually misnamed, and the shock that they produce is actually due to a toxic venom that they secrete. That's false. Electric eels really are electric and can discharge over 500 volts of electricity at once. Nicolas Cage is named after the comic book hero Luke Cage. Just while you're thinking of that, hit that subscribe button. It really does help me, helps the channel, gets more quizzes out to you. And that's true, Nick Cage is just a stage name, his real name is Nicholas Coppola. Ivan the Terrible was the inspiration for Dracula. That's false. Dracula was actually based on Vlad the Impaler. In the Roman Empire, horse urine was used as mouthwash. It's false. It's actually much worse than that. They actually used human urine. A chicken once survived almost 2 years after having its head cut off. That's true, he was known as Mike the Headless and he survived the axe stroke, missed his jugular vein and most of his brainstem, and he was fed through an eyedropper. Major League Baseball uses about 900,000 bulls every season. According to the league's best estimate, it's true. Some of the moons in our solar system have moons of their own. That's false. Although it's theoretically possible, the tidal force between planet and moon tend to rip away any satellites. When a worker bee mates with the queen bee, its penis explodes. That's true. And if you listen closely, you can hear it pop. 36 red cards were once issued in a single football match, or soccer. That's true, it took place in Paraguay, and when fighting between players escalated to an all-out brawl, the referee tossed every single player from the match. Aspirin was originally invented to treat erectile dysfunction. That's false, but Viagra was originally used to treat heart disease. Benjamin Franklin has been inducted into the Kite Flyers Hall of Fame. That's false, but he is a member of the International Swimming Hall of Fame. Oxford University predates the Aztecs by centuries. That's true. Oxford Uni was around since 1096 and the Aztec Empire didn't rise until 1428. The scallop is the only mollusk that is completely blind. That's false. Scallops have a dozen eyes all along the edge of their shells. Humans are capable of echolocation. It's true. Although not everyone can do it, some blind people have figured out a way to navigate the world using clicks. You can't light a candle in zero gravity. That's false, and not only can you light a candle, but the flame it produces will be round and blue. Our real-life Earth exists in Marvel Comics under the name Lee Prime, after the creator Stan Lee. That's false. Our Earth does exist, but it's under the designation Earth 1218 or Earth Prime. Wife carrying is a sport in North America. That's true. The North American Wife Carrying Championship has been held since 1999. The CIA used cats as spies. Apparently, that's true, according to a former CIA agent. They surgically implanted cats with listening devices. Saudi Arabia imports sand. That's true. The quality of sand is too poor to make glass, so they have to import it from other sandy countries. In 1939, Adolf Hitler was nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize. Unbelievably, that is true. A member of the Swedish Parliament submitted the nomination, although according to him, it was not intended to be a serious nomination. About 250,000 people in America tuned in to watch the first televised American football game. That's false. It's only about 1,000 people, because in 1939, not a lot of people had a television. Beavers' butts taste like vanilla. That's true. Well, kind of. Beavers secrete a substance from their anal glands that is used in artificial vanilla flavouring, like ice cream. Mmm, yummy. Wow, I hope you enjoyed this new quiz. If you did, hit that like, subscribe to the channel, and let me know how you did in the comments. And then check out that video there on the left, because YouTube thinks you'll love it. Until next time, quiz fans, bye bye.